Amanda. She needs this position more than you do. I stayed up day and night just to keep up with the project schedule, working diligently and conscientiously. My health, my sleep, my efforts, none of it meant anything in his eyes. After I got home, I packed up his things. You should leave. I'm very tired. I don't want to argue with you. Ryan froze, and suddenly his eyes turned red. How can you not want me anymore? Just because of something this small? Chapter 1. The moment he said that, I exploded. Small your mom, small your dad, small your whole damn family, small your ancestors for 18 generations. Get out! I grabbed the tissue box at hand and hurled it at him. Ryan didn't expect me to hit him. He stood there, looking at me in disbelief. The tissue box struck his forehead. Ryan hissed in pain. Amanda, it's just a full-time conversion slot. It's not like I'm not giving it to you. I'm just extending your probation. I said I would give it to you. You're not short on money for now. Whether you convert to full-time doesn't make much difference to you. Besides, you still have me. No one will bully you. Julia is different. If she doesn't get the slot, she'll have to go back to her hometown. Her family is forcing her to get married for a bride price. I can't just stand by and watch her jump into a fire pit. He didn't understand. I looked at the man I had loved for 4 years and felt like crying. Ryan, in my last internship, my mentor told me there was a position that could convert me to full-time, but that headcount was shared with social recruitment. I worked so hard for so long, and right before conversion they told me they had already interviewed and found a suitable candidate. Do you remember? I was sitting right here, crying. It wasn't that I couldn't accept losing the slot. It was that I felt deceived. As if my sincerity, persistence, diligence, and hard work were all worthless. I was even stupid enough to tell my mentor that I wanted to work with her for a lifetime. She was really wonderful. She looked at me then, and after a long while, smiled and said, among all the interns in our group, you're the one I value the most. I quite like you too. That's why, when I learned the truth, it hurt even more. Everything she said had just been to coax me into working, to coax me like an ox, moo once and I'd start working every single day. At the time, Ryan told me his company had a position I was interested in, open to fresh graduates. With your ability, there won't be any problem. I believe in you. Back then, he knelt beside me, wiping my tears, telling me it was okay to try again. Chapter 2. Fortunately, I was still somewhat lucky. While preparing for my thesis defense, I kept revising my resume and sending out applications. After 4 rounds of interviews, I successfully received an offer letter. The company Ryan worked at paid well, so everyone competed like crazy. It was so extreme that if you couldn't keep up with the team's progress, interns would come over directly and ask whether you needed help, ready to take over your portion of the work. Even crazier than when I was an intern. I didn't dare slack off in the slightest. Pulling all-nighters to avoid delaying project progress became normal. Busy to the point of dizziness. Working until the sky turned dark and light again. When I got home, all I wanted was to collapse into bed. I spoke to Ryan much less than before. But I'm stubborn by nature. Once I decide to do something, I see it through. Besides, I was the only new hire in my department. And by convention, that meant I could smoothly convert to full-time. I worked wholeheartedly. Sure enough, once the probation period ended, they announced the full-time conversion, but they didn't notify me. They notified Ryan's junior, Julia. She hadn't worked a single day. Chapter 3. Amanda, you're only extending your probation, but you could save her life. You've always been kind. Why are you so angry this time? At most, it's just 2 more months, then you'll convert smoothly. Seeing that I remained silent, Ryan continued, I know this, combined with what happened at your last internship, makes you very unhappy, but this time is really different. Your work is still your work. Nothing will change. The tears I shed sitting here that day, he probably thought wiping them away with a tissue was enough. So now, he tossed away my effort and expectations just like he tossed away that tissue that day. Ryan really didn't understand, and I didn't understand either, whether the person I loved had ever truly loved me, whether he had ever cherished me the way I cherished him. I let out a self-mocking laugh. Ryan, If the roles were reversed, if my junior told me he'd die if he didn't get this job, then I'd let him die. Why should I sacrifice your interests to save some so-called junior? Is he really at a dead end? Am I the only person he can turn to? Can't he find a suitable job himself? Ryan frowned, as if thinking over my words. After a moment of hesitation, he said, "That's different. She's a girl, and she just graduated. She doesn't have much social experience. Besides, she's facing a real predicament." And what about the predicament I was facing? Because I felt sorry for how hard Ryan worked. No matter how difficult things were, I never complained to him even once, and to prove I was worthy of standing beside him, I never shrank from hardship. Of course he wouldn't know that for this job. I volunteered for overtime, only to have colleagues shift the blame onto me. That day, I told him not to wait for me to get off work. I walked home from the company. I walked for a long time, under the cover of night. I cried the whole way, but when I got home, he had cooked for me, prepared my favorite fruit, adjusted the water temperature just right, and I felt like I could keep going a little longer. Sometimes I thought life was so hard and I was so tired, but when Ryan held my hand and took me for a walk, I would feel better again. I wanted very little, but now, he wouldn't even give me that little bit. I asked him, "What about my effort? What does it count for?" Ryan rubbed his temples, looking exhausted. "Amanda, why don't you understand? Your effort hasn't been denied. You're just seeing the results a little later. Stop dwelling on this, okay? Julia is a good girl. She'll be grateful to you." I stared at him steadily. "No, kindness without principles isn't kindness. It's cowardice. Do you hear me? Cowardice. What right do you have to hurt me? Do I deserve this?" I rarely curse, but right now, I felt that if I didn't curse him, I'd grow nodules from the stress. It took him several seconds to come back to his senses. "Amanda, are you crazy? I remember when you were in college. You'd run over to buy food for elderly scavengers and feel sad for a long time afterward. You bought food for the stray cats on campus, took them to be neutered, and even donated your scholarship to student aid foundations. I just don't understand. You pity the elderly, pity children, pity animals, but why can't you tolerate one Julia?" He grabbed his phone and slammed it hard onto the table. The phone hit the tabletop with a loud crash. "Do you think there's something between her and me? The phone is right here. Go through it. If there's anything between us, I'll just go die, okay?" He was furious, as if angry that I didn't trust him. Suddenly, I felt drained. No matter what I said, Ryan didn't understand. He didn't stand in my shoes and think for me. He didn't cherish me the way I cherished him. I closed my eyes in exhaustion. "We're not on the same path anymore. You should leave." Ryan let out a long breath. "Amanda, I'll give you time. Think it through yourself. Think about whether what you said and did today was right." Chapter 4. I looked at his back and suddenly remembered. Don't think. I forcefully suppressed all memories about Ryan. If you can pick it up, you must also be able to put it down. If it hurts me, I don't want it anymore. To avoid being controlled by my emotions, I did a deep clean overnight and submitted my resignation letter along the way. I just wanted to hand over my work as soon as possible. The next day, I saw Julia at the company. She was very thin, wearing a white dress, as if the wind could blow her away at any moment. When I walked in, she was bent over asking a colleague something. Colleague deliberately said loudly, "You don't even know this? You can ask my interns. They'll be very happy to help you." "Oh right. There's also someone in our group who hasn't been converted yet. She's very professional in this area. You can ask her more." She emphasized the words converted to full-time. Julia's face turned a little awkward when she heard footsteps. She turned around. "Amanda, sis. Hello. Senior often talks about you." I sneered. "Often? But Ryan told me he's not that familiar with you." Perhaps she didn't expect me to give her no face at all. Julia's face turned even paler. She stammered for a long time. I didn't wait for her explanation and said directly, "All right. Don't waste time. Let's do the handover." Colleague B suddenly looked up. "You're resigning?" In an instant, everyone looked at me. I smiled at her. "Yes. There was a bit of bitterness in my smile. She saw it and immediately said, "It'll get better." After saying that, she glanced at Julia and rolled her eyes at the ceiling. The two colleagues who had shifted the blame onto me gloated. "Looks like some people are just annoying. Even their own boyfriend won't stand up for them." "Amanda, don't misunderstand. I'm talking about my friend." "Then your friend is really pitiful. But pitiful people must have something hateful about them." Haha. After everyone chimed in, they quieted down and buried themselves in work. Julia clenched her fists. I glanced at her and withdrew my gaze. "Let me tell you what I'm mainly responsible for now and the projects I'm currently in contact with." I noticed that Julia was clearly zoning out. I sighed inwardly. So disappointing. More or less, the colleagues knew the truth and were unwilling to deal with Julia. Most importantly, compared to Julia, I was more capable and had better teamwork with them. If I left and Julia replaced me, it would delay project progress and affect everyone's bonuses. Naturally, they weren't happy. After Julia walked away, a colleague leaned over and asked me, "You just gave your conversion quota to her like that?" I checked. She has no background at all, meaning she was purely inserted by Ryan, and stepped in on top of me. Her eyes were full of confusion. Actually, I didn't understand either. We had been loving each other just fine. I just wanted my own career and to manage this relationship well. Maybe I was too greedy. So I got neither. She lowered her voice and asked, "Did your boyfriend discuss this with you?" I smiled bitterly and shook my head. "No, but correction, it's ex-boyfriend." "Amanda, are you serious?" A familiar voice sounded behind me. Ryan's face looked extremely bad. "This is the company. Stop talking about private matters. And also, sulking is one thing. Can you act normal?" He was completely blunt. Then I wouldn't be polite either. "I'll be normal your mom, normal your dad, normal your whole family, normal your ancestors for 18 generations. Enough? If not, I can keep going." Julia appeared from nowhere. "Senior, Amanda sis. It's all my fault. Don't fight because of me." She looked timid, like a little white flower swaying in the wind. "I know Amanda sis doesn't like me. That's why everyone is so hostile toward me." "Amanda sis, Senior and I are completely innocent. Please don't fight because of me. It's okay if I suffer a bit, although I never meant to hurt anyone and just want to work well. It's fine if I'm misunderstood." Ryan said coldly. "Apologize to her." A lump rose in my chest like a stone stuck there, painfully heavy. Julia slightly raised her head and glanced at me, then hurriedly said, "No need. Amanda just loves you too much. I know she didn't mean to hurt me, even though I've been hurt. I won't mind." Ryan turned to her, displeased. "I'm talking to you." "Julia, apologize to Amanda." Julia bit her lip, so embarrassed that tears welled in her eyes. Ryan looked at her and hesitated again. "Forget it. Get back to work. Don't overthink it." Like explaining things to an inexperienced younger sister. He added, "Julia, people need to be responsible for what they say. This is the workplace, not school. Bringing private matters up does you no good. People will only think you're irrational and unreliable. Do you understand?" Julia slightly raised her head. Her eyelashes were wet with tears. Looking pitiful, she sniffled and said to me, "Amanda, I'm sorry." But I saw clearly, there was not a trace of guilt on her face. The provocation in her eyes was obvious. I understood it. What Ryan said to me was, "This is the company. Stop talking about private matters." But to her, he carefully analyzed and patiently taught. An unprecedented sense of defeat swept over me. Even though I tried so hard to suppress the surging emotions inside me, I was still affected by Ryan, and I realized that I could no longer understand Ryan, just as he could not understand me. But in the past 4 years, I had loved him sincerely, and I could feel his love too. In a lifetime, how many 4-year periods of mutual concern can there be? I almost burst into tears. Chapter 5. I blinked, forcing back the tears. I took a deep breath. I didn't want to have any more entanglements with the two of them. "Julia, you don't have to treat me as a competitor. If it's about work, I've already submitted my resignation. If it's about Ryan," I looked at Ryan's departing back, paused, then continued, "I've already broken up with him, whether she believed it or not. I doubted she did, because she quickly forced a smile and said to me, "Amanda, I haven't done anything. You're being too sensitive and overthinking. Let me say one more thing. Senior is a good person. Don't keep talking about breaking up. It hurts people. Once or twice works. But say it too often and it becomes a prophecy." There wasn't a trace of the pitiful look she had just now. The more she spoke, the more smug she became. Amanda, if I ever get back together with Ryan, may lightning strike me 5 times from the sky. May I get hit by a car the moment I step outside. May I never get rich in this lifetime. Is that enough? For a near second, Julia's face went blank. If you were fighting me over work, I might even think more highly of you. But if it's over a man, then I really don't understand. Something I've already used. Why are you so desperate to snatch it? I'll give him to you. I patted her shoulder. Work hard. I hope you really can stay. After all, I put a lot of effort into this job. I once truly wanted to stay. Julia forcefully brushed off her own shoulder. Who needs your fake kindness? If you're so capable, why didn't you make Senior stand on your side and speak up for you? And you have the nerve to lecture me? Have you figured your own life out? Weren't you once Ryan's junior too? Now that I'm here, you feel threatened. Is that it? Ryan was 2 years ahead of me. Originally, we had no intersection at all, but fate is funny like that. When I forgot to bring an umbrella, I would randomly squeeze under a classmate's umbrella and ask them to walk me a bit. Everyone was kind and didn't refuse. Some classmates even deterred to walk me farther. So I would also proactively hold an umbrella for classmates caught in the rain. That day there was a torrential downpour. I rushed forward holding my umbrella to shelter a classmate ahead of me. Because I was wearing slippers, my feet slipped. Holding the umbrella, I practically glided forward, and the umbrella smacked the back of his head. Because of inertia, I almost fell together with the umbrella. Fortunately, he instinctively pulled me. I apologized repeatedly in panic. Ryan was drenched from head to toe. He said something. The rain was too heavy. I didn't hear clearly. He raised his voice and said, "Classmate, could you move your umbrella? The water from it is dripping into my clothes. It's freezing." I froze. I saw his white t-shirt soaked and clinging to his body. The outline of his abs was very clear. Higher up, droplets from the umbrella fell onto his collarbone and slid down. Ryan's expression wasn't great. But when good-looking people are cold-faced, they're still good-looking. "I'm sorry. I'll transfer you some medical fees. I'll treat you to a meal. What do you want to eat, classmate?" Ryan looked at me for a while, then said, "Move the umbrella." He was still standing there. I instinctively said, "Then you can step aside a bit." Ryan froze. Then, as if thinking of something, he turned and ran. I hurried after him. "Are you really not adding my WeChat? There's a promotion now. Add my WeChat and you can get 1,000 red envelope." "Really? I'm not lying. Add me now and it's 2,000. Don't run. How about 3,000? He ran and ran. I chased and chased. The distance kept widening. I ran with my head down until suddenly a hand appeared before my eyes. A QR code for adding a friend was held out. Ryan still had a cold face. And his tone was cold too. "You add me. I'll give you 5,000. WeChat and money? Great." Later, Ryan told me that when he first saw me that day, his heart pounded violently. He thought he had fallen in love at first sight. But thinking back carefully, it was probably because I made his heart ache from anger. It was already pouring rain. I hit him with my umbrella. After hitting him, I almost knocked him over. After he pulled me up, I still held the umbrella low so all the water flowed onto him. At that moment, he couldn't believe he had fallen in love at first sight with someone who treated him so terribly. When he realized it, he turned and ran. Thinking about it, I couldn't help but laugh. It felt like I saw my youth rushing past. Other than my friends, Ryan heard more of my girlish thoughts than anyone. He gave me endless support and help, gave me the courage and strength to believe. Back then, I had imagined countless futures with him. In the fantasies of 18-year-old me, I reached countless happy endings with him. But 18-year-old Amanda, do you know? There is no future between you and him. Perhaps if I stepped back, I could continue loving him, but I don't allow myself to do that. He saw my pain, and he dismissed it. Chapter 6. A colleague suddenly slammed the table. "We're at work. If you can work, then work. If you can't, we'll replace you." Julia choked up and shot me a glare. Fine. Saves me the trouble of handing over work to her. I get to relax. I didn't stay late like usual. I left right on time. This time no one said anything. When I left, Julia was still being criticized by colleagues. I saw her write "go die" over and over on a piece of paper. If she can't even handle this, then wait until meetings start. That's when she'll really suffer. Everyone passes the blame, draws pie-in-the-sky promises, assigns tasks to others, and secretly undermines people like masters of self-sabotage. Yeah, I'm not exactly a good person either. I grabbed my bag and walked out, not thinking anymore. So many memories with Ryan flashed through my mind. On the day I came for the interview, I walked through the lobby, staring at the rising elevator numbers, thinking how nice it would be if I could stay here. Then I'd get to see Ryan often. I never would have imagined that I would be the one to leave on my own. The July evening breeze was cool, yet I felt cold, as if the torrential rain from when I was 18 had only fully fallen today. My phone suddenly lit up. A message from Ryan. "Amanda, Senior is here with me. Hee hee." The next second, the message was withdrawn. I stared at my phone screen and suddenly burst into tears. I always thought I should be happy. How did it come to this? Is it because I'm too stubborn? Or because I didn't understand him enough? Is it because Julia is malicious? Or because Ryan can't tell right from wrong? I don't know. After thinking it over and over, I can only blame myself for being too fragile. If I were stronger, maybe I wouldn't cry. "Amanda?" A hesitant voice sounded. I hurriedly wiped my tears. A tissue was held out to me. I took it and looked at the person. Sam, Ryan's friend. He never really liked me. Every time he saw me, he'd pull a long face. He would forcibly drag Ryan away. Seeing my tear-streaked face, he deliberately looked away. In a flat tone, he said, "What's wrong with you? Ryan and I broke up." "Really? That's great." "Huh?" I thought I had misheard. Sam quickly said, "I mean, that's terrible. Really a pity. Such a shame." He tried to look regretful, but unfortunately his acting wasn't very good. I took a deep breath. Yes, we broke up. One piece of good news and one piece of bad news. Which do you want to hear? Sam didn't expect that question. He froze for 2 seconds. Then his eyes lit up as he looked at me. "What's the good news?" "The good news is Ryan and I are completely, totally done." Sam nodded heavily, joy shining in his eyes as he looked at me. MHM. "The bad news is Ryan is probably straight, not gay. So you've got no chance." Sam's face visibly darkened, afraid he'd curse me out. I ran off without looking back. I knew it. Every time he saw Ryan with me, he'd drag Ryan away. And when he heard we broke up, he couldn't hide his happiness. He's definitely secretly in love with Ryan. After that interruption, I couldn't cry anymore. I unlocked my phone and, imitating that message's tone, replied to Ryan. "Ryan, Sam is here with me. Hee hee." I didn't withdraw it. Chapter 7. After returning home, I began making a list, packing up a portion of my things every day to ensure that once I resigned, I could leave immediately without missing anything. When I reached the 7th column, I froze for a long time. Many of the items in this column of gifts were from Ryan. I usually keep meaningful gifts by my side, carrying the love of family and friends with me as I venture forward. Ryan gave me many unforgettable memories. On my 20th birthday, he was away on a business trip. I reminded him over and over not to come. Work was more important. He didn't come. Instead, he customized a piece of jewelry for me. It required me to pick it up in person. Only when I arrived did I realize that Ryan had arranged for me to have an opportunity to meet and exchange ideas with a leader in the industry. Even now, I still find it hard to accurately describe how I felt at that moment. I can't tell whether I felt more moved or more heartache and shock. I knew he must have put in tremendous effort to arrange that rare opportunity for me. He even anticipated that I might need preparation time and informed me 2 hours in advance. After the meeting, the bracelet that served as the excuse was delivered to me. I'm not used to wearing jewelry, so I carefully stored it away. Much later, I learned that he had actually rushed to campus that day. But it was too late. He hurriedly came to see me from afar, then hurriedly left. I only discovered this when I found photos in his phone and asked him why. He said lightly, "I just wanted to see you." I didn't understand. Then why didn't you meet me if you came? Ryan looked at me and smiled. Because I saw you bouncing back happily. You looked so happy. Actually, it was I who wanted to see him. He was afraid that if I didn't see him, I would be unhappy. Each gift carried the sincerity that once shone in him. Chapter 8. My mind was a little chaotic. I wanted to escape for a moment, but I still forced myself to sort everything out and listed it on a secondhand website. After finishing all that, I finally looked at the string of missed calls on my phone. At that moment, my ringtone suddenly rang again. I answered. The voice from the phone overlapped with the voice outside the door. Amanda. Open the door. He was standing outside, smiling somewhat helplessly. You're really not letting me come home? In his eyes, it seemed I was only briefly upset and would soon recover. Ryan, we broke up. You know me. I never joke about this kind of thing. Nor do I use breaking up as a threat to get promises from you. Since I said it, it means I've already made up my mind. I can be impulsive and reckless, but when it comes to things I truly want to do well, I always think 10 steps ahead before taking one, especially for someone I almost intended to spend my whole life with. Ryan looked at me for a long time. After confirming I wasn't joking, he panicked. Don't do this. His voice lowered, almost pleading. Julia and I are completely innocent. I just couldn't bear to see her become a victim of marriage. That doesn't mean I don't love you. I know. All his words were forced back down. His eyes were full of confusion, as if asking why. I'm not your teacher. I don't need to give you explanations. Don't waste each other's time. Since we're separating, let's do it cleanly. Dragging things out is meaningless. I couldn't give myself the chance to waver, so I had to be ruthless. Ryan stared at me for a long time. He turned his face away, jawline tight. He was holding back tears. We met young, each other's first love, both believing the person in front of us would be the one we'd spend our lives with. After a long while, he turned back to me. He held it in, but his voice still trembled slightly. I'm sorry. I won't meddle in other people's affairs anymore. I know you're angry. You deliberately used Sam to make me jealous. You hate Sam. I won't associate with him anymore. I interrupted him. Why would I hate him? I understand why Sam doesn't like me, but he hasn't hurt me. I have no reason to hate him. Hate is an intense emotion. It requires a great deal of energy from me. No one is worth my hatred. Who you associate with has nothing to do with me. Ryan, I don't need you to change yourself for me. That would burden me. I know what your intentions are. But just because you have good intentions and she has difficulties doesn't mean the harm done to me isn't harm. It doesn't work that way. Isn't love supposed to put each other first? To be more malicious in my thinking, maybe after entering the workforce, I became more independent and focused on myself. Ryan's weight in my life decreased, and Julia's appearance filled that void. She's young and pretty, and her admiration and dependence on Ryan satisfy his emotional needs. I could think like that. I could attack him and blame Julia, but I don't want the ending to be that ugly. He fell silent. I could tell he still wanted to try to salvage things. After a long silence, Ryan asked me, I can put everything back to how it was. Why does it have to come to this? I took a step back and asked him, do you know Julia used your phone to send me a message? Ryan's face turned deathly pale. He isn't foolish. On the contrary, Ryan is a smart man. Instinctively, he sensed it wasn't something good and began explaining weakly. She said her phone was out of battery and needed to message a friend to say she was safe. I didn't know she would message you. I'll check the surveillance and report it to the police. I closed the door and told him, I copied her and sent you that message. Chapter 9. The next day, when I went to the office, I overheard some gossip. After Ryan checked the surveillance footage, he really did call the police and went to the station with Julia for mediation. A colleague asked me curiously, Amanda, do you know what happened? It's the first time I've seen him lose his temper like that. Even when he used to get angry, he would always smile, then make people resign on their own behind the scenes. Her gaze wandered across my face. I just got here. If you don't know, how would I know? Seeing that, She didn't press further. For several days in a row, I didn't see either of them. Until I saw Julia waiting outside my door at home. She rushed over and grabbed my hand. Before she even spoke, tears were already streaming down her face. Amanda, I'm sorry. I was just momentarily possessed. Please forgive me, okay? Before I could respond, Ryan suddenly ran over. He had clearly heard what she said. Furious, he pulled her away from my side. Shut up. Momentarily possessed to the point of using my phone to provoke Amanda? Didn't you say you didn't want to be misunderstood? Then what exactly are you doing? Julia refused to let go of my hand. I pulled my hand free. My forgiveness means nothing to you. Her tears flowed even harder. I just wanted to try. You're not me. You don't know how hard my life is. I had no other choice. I took out a pack of tissues from my bag and threw it to her. You weren't trying. You were gambling. Gambling that I'd swallow this quietly. Gambling that Ryan would waver. It's better to rely on yourself than others. And try not to indulge in self-pity. Once a person indulges in self-pity, they stay in the position of a victim. It's easy to fall into an emotional whirlpool. The more you pity yourself, the more helpless you feel. The more helpless you feel, the more you pity yourself. Julia reacted as if someone had stepped on her tail and threw the tissues hard onto the ground. You only know how to talk coldly. You never consider other people's situations. Not everyone has the same conditions as you. Then what about someone like me? Should I just go die? Seeing me beg you makes you feel proud, doesn't it? Ryan picked up the tissues. His chest rose and fell violently as he suppressed his anger. Julia, do you want to go to the police station again? Whatever's between you and me. Why are you dragging Amanda into it? I regret listening to your nonsense and helping you. Julia froze, her swollen, tear-reddened eyes lifted to look at Ryan. I like you. Ryan's face darkened immediately. He turned to explain to me. If I had known she had those thoughts, I would never have had contact with her. I repeated once more. We broke up. There's no need to explain to me. Ryan's fingers tightened slightly. His tone dimmed. I know, but I don't want you to misunderstand. I didn't reply. Julia, who had been ignored, glared at me, feeling the intensity of her gaze. I looked at her. I don't like Julia. The only reason I said a few extra words to her was because she hadn't troubled me at work. And emotionally, she helped me separate from someone who wasn't right for me. Aren't you leaving? Julia left crying. She was wearing high heels and couldn't stand steadily, swaying as she walked. Ryan watched coldly. I couldn't help but sneer. What? Don't you think she needs help anymore? Ryan looked at me, and a layer of tears surfaced in his eyes. I'm sorry. If you ever need help in the future, come to me first, okay? He didn't say anything about getting back together. He loves me, and he understands me. Unless I've truly made up my mind, I wouldn't break up. I had no way to tell him gracefully and calmly that it was okay. I couldn't be that magnanimous. It felt like something was lodged in my throat. I couldn't speak. My eyes stung. I quickly opened the door and said to him, "No need. Goodbye." My voice trembled. Anyone could tell something was wrong. After closing the door, I covered my mouth and cried, "Ryan, we won't see each other again." Chapter 10. After handling my resignation, I sublet the apartment. I didn't want to stay here anymore. I was afraid that in future interviews, the department head might be my former colleague, or Ryan. When I was young, I dreamed of traveling far and wide. In the end, I only ever made it to Guangzhou South and Shenzhen North. Friend requests kept popping up on WeChat. Some were labeled Sam. Others asked where I was now. I ignored them. I'm not slow. I could roughly guess the reasons, but I wasn't interested in anything about them. In August, Guangdong was hit by torrential rain. As I sat by the window listening to the rain hitting the glass, I received a phone call. Caller ID, Ryan. The first time, I didn't answer. He called again a second time. Maybe the rain was too heavy. For some inexplicable reason, I picked up. It wasn't Ryan's voice on the other end, but a sweet little girl's voice. Big sister, when are you coming to play with me? Big sister, I miss you. Brother is the worst bad guy. He won't let me call you. I found your number myself. Isn't baby very smart? It was Ryan's younger sister, the little girl who liked to cling to me, who liked to climb onto my lap. She said only I was willing to dress up her dolls with her, willing to stick stickers together. When she wanted praise, she would imitate others and call herself baby. I froze, not hearing my voice. She kept saying hello, hello, into the phone. I came back to my senses. The rain outside grew even louder. Big sister hears you. Wow. Big sister. Her voice was so excited that even through the phone, I could feel her joy. Big sister, I miss you so much. You said when I had summer vacation I could see you. I've been on vacation for so long, but brother won't let me look for you. Mom says big sister is an adult. Adults need to earn money. They're very busy and work very hard. So I waited obediently for many days, but big sister still didn't come. Her voice drooped for a moment, but quickly brightened again. Baby didn't buy snacks with my money. I'll give it to big sister to play with baby. Like a little sparrow. She kept calling. Big sister. Big sister. I thought Ryan and his mother probably assumed that if they soothed her for a while, she would eventually forget. They didn't expect that after so long, she would still remember. I couldn't bear to give her hope only to let her down again. I grew up too. I know when adults casually comfort children, children really do remember it in their hearts. I watched raindrops hit the glass and bloom instantly like flowers. Baby. Big sister and your brother broke up. I'm sorry. Big sister can't come play with you anymore. The other end suddenly went silent. She asked innocently, Big sister, what does breaking up mean? I thought for a moment and told her, breaking up means we won't see each other anymore. Her crying burst out instantly, between sobs. She asked, if you break up with brother, you can't play with me either? Yes, that's the rule for adults. Don't cry. In the future, a new big sister will come to your house to play with you. She cried even harder. Adults are all bad guys. Brother is the worst. Then she added, big sister isn't a bad person. I like big sister. I don't want a new big sister. I want big sister. She kept calling me, crying softly. I tried my best to comfort her. You are a sweet and lovely little girl. In the future, more people will like you. There will be people willing to play with you. The rain never stopped. It soaked everything through, and even the days felt swollen with dampness. Once, I refused to let people flow through my life like a gentle stream. I tried desperately to hold on to some of them, but as I gradually grew up, I began to allow and accept everything. I allow my fragility, my tears, my lack of magnanimity, and I allow that the people I love may only be splashes of water on my window. Dear little girl, don't cry. One day, you will grow up. I will become someone in your words. When I was little, I really liked my brother's ex-girlfriend. Only she would patiently play with me. Later they broke up, and I even called her and cried. Or perhaps I won't appear in her memory at all. But that's okay. I accept it completely. Books I once skimmed carelessly as a child, one day when grown, I suddenly understand. This must have been the state of mind the author had when writing them. The past lies beyond the sea. The old house is no more. Listen to the cold rain.